At the start of the movie, we are introduced to a man named Ananta, who is incarcerated in a jail. An officer arrives to escort him, handcuffing him as they depart. Along the way, Ananta begins singing a song. Eventually, they arrive at their destination, where Ananta is bound to a pillar, his face covered with a black cloth, and he is executed. The scene transitions to a bar where a girl named Sasthi is performing a song. As she sings, she notices a little girl in the audience, causing her to faint. But when she regains consciousness and looks back, the girl has disappeared. Later, on her way home, Sasthi is stopped by an officer who confirms her identity and informs her that they need her help urgently, emphasizing the importance of the matter. The officer escorts her to the jail's morgue, where she meets the warden Rudy. Rudy reveals that they have executed her father, but he is somehow still alive. When they show her her father's body, he unexpectedly grabs her hand, frightening her deeply. Rudy explains that after the execution, they heard her father whispering that only his descendants have the power to end his life. He implores her to fulfill her father's wish by ending his life to grant him peace. Overwhelmed by the request, she rushes out of the morgue and begins to vomit. And it is at this moment that she once again sees the mysterious girl. Meanwhile, as they change Ananta's clothes, a power outage plunges the entire jail into darkness, and we see Ananta waking up. Outside, Rudy and Sasthi hear screams emanating from within the post-mortem room, and to their shock, they witness Ananta emerging from the door, and without warning, he attacks Sasthi. The guards attempt to intervene, but Ananta overpowers them, rendering them unconscious. In a desperate bid to defend herself, Sasthi grabs a gun and fires, finally ending his life. However, overcome with emotion, she breaks down in tears, reminiscing about her childhood moments with her father. Amid the chaos, a reporter named Jayanthi manages to infiltrate the jail, but her presence is soon discovered by an officer, and he apprehends her and instructs her to wait outside. Rudy reveals to Sasthi that her father had previously instructed them to transport his body to his hometown in Kimakan. However, the prison authorities have opted to bury him in the prison cemetery. Rudy offers to assist Sasthi in fulfilling her father's wish by relocating his body to Semakan if she desires. Sasthi decides to honor her father's wish, and they proceed to place Ananta's corpse in a car, embarking on the journey to his hometown. Meanwhile, Jayanthi receives a call from her boss, and she informs him that according to her sources, Ananta has mastered the art of Banaspati, a mystical practice that prevents him from dying unless he is buried in his hometown. Here it is also revealed that one of Ananta's victims was Jayanthi's best friend. Just then, she notices their car leaving, prompting her to disconnect the call and leave. On their way to Simakan, Yama informs Sasthi that they should arrive at their destination by 9 p.m. if the traffic remains smooth. Meanwhile, in Simakan, Master Endang sees Chief Durman and offers him coffee, but Durman hears mysterious whispering and decides to leave. Just then, Endang hears a noise from inside the house, and as he enters, he realizes that Ananta is on the verge of arriving in Simakan. Yama stops the car at a spot to use the restroom. As he enters, Jayanthi also reaches the spot. Yama hears someone knocking on the door. However, when he comes out, there is no one in sight. Meanwhile, Jayanthi begins recording the dead body of Ananta. As Yama starts to head back to his car, he hears a woman crying, but can't pinpoint where the sound is coming from. Eventually, he figures out that the cries are emanating from inside the restroom. However, when he opens the door to check, there's no one inside, and suddenly, he is frightened by a scream, prompting him to run away in fear. He tells the woman that he heard someone crying, who explains to him that she is her daughter, who is a little scared. And when Yama asks her what is she afraid of, she says to the man who is at the back of his car, because that man is an evil person. She urges Yama to take the man away, and when she turns back, she does not have a face. Meanwhile, Jayanthi begins questioning Sasthi about the circumstances surrounding Ananta's death. However, their conversation is interrupted when Yama arrives and swiftly drives away with Sasthi. After their departure, Jayanthi observes that the location appears to be in a state of ruin. Sasthi asks Yama what happened there, but he doesn't tell her anything. Concerned, she informs him about Jayanthi and speculates that she may be following them. In Simicon, we learn that Derman has violently assaulted his wife Momun, an act he has never committed before. Endong expresses skepticism about this behavior, to which Momun explains that Derman received a mysterious phone call, after which he began acting strangely. He appeared confused and proceeded to visit the cemetery, and upon his return, he became enraged and lashed out, resulting in the assault on Momun. Meanwhile, Yama asks Sasthi if she knows about Banaspati, to which she reveals that many people believe her father possesses supernatural abilities. However, she personally does not believe this. On the other hand, in Simicon, some children witness the tragic sight of Derman hanging from a tree. Yama and Sasthi hear on the radio about the upcoming occurrence of a superblood moon that night, asking people to pray and observe the sky. Later, when Yama stops once more to relieve himself, Jayanthi follows them. She resumes questioning Sasthi, leading to a heated argument between them. Yama intervenes, instructing Sasthi to wait in the car. Jayanthi expresses her desire to inspect the corpse, which Yama permits, with the condition that she does not disturb them afterward. However, as Jayanthi approaches the body, Yama abruptly starts the car and drives away. In Simicon, during Derman's funeral, villagers approach Endong and present him with a cell phone, claiming it belonged to Derman. They reveal that Derman received a call from the prison warden, believed to be related to Ananta's burial in the village. The villagers vehemently oppose Ananta's burial in their village, fearing a similar fate as Derman's. Meanwhile, Yama informs Sasthi that they must take an alternate route. However, their car inexplicably comes to a halt. Yama checks the car but finds no issues with it, and they notice that their phones have no signals. During Derman's burial, an unexpected event occurs. Momun gets possessed and begins laughing uncontrollably, and her voice undergoes a startling transformation. As Endang questions about its entity, Momun addresses him as brother and begins singing a song. Coincidentally, Sasthi is also singing the same song, and she confides in Yama, revealing that her father had taught her the very same song. Yama notices someone approaching and flags them down, seeking their assistance. All three of them join forces to push the car, but suddenly, Anantha's corpse falls onto one of the men, startling them all, and in a state of fear, both men quickly flee the scene. Yama suggests to Sasthi that they should return her father's body to the car. However, as they turn to do so, they realize that the car has mysteriously started on its own. Meanwhile, Jayanthi stops at a nearby shop to inquire about the address of the village, and while she is leaving, the two men arrive there, and she overhears them saying that they spotted a Pocong in a car about a kilometer away. Yama and Sasthi's car become stuck in the mud, forcing them to come to a halt once again, and they find that there is still no signal on their phones. Yama instructs Sasthi to remain in the car while he sets out to find help. Next, we see Endang returning to the forest and retrieving a dagger from the ground. Sasthi experiences a sense of unease while waiting alone in the car. Eventually, she steps out of the vehicle and encounters someone standing behind her, who turns out to be her father. He beckons her to approach him, and when Sasthi goes to him, he apologizes for leaving when she was young. He expresses his love for her and tells her that she has to hurry. Meanwhile, Yama encounters some individuals, and as he asks them for help, he realizes they are not human, prompting him to flee from them. He calls out to Sasthi, prompting her to turn around, and her father Ananta vanishes from sight. Suddenly, Ananta appears again, and Sasthi wakes up from sleep and realizes that it was a dream. Yama returns to the car and attempts to start it, but the engine refuses to respond. The ghosts approach them and tell them they are there for Ananta. With a sense of urgency, Yama successfully manages to free the car from the mud and accidentally collides with Jayanthi's vehicle, causing her to faint. Observing Jayanthi's unconscious state, Yama decides to transfer Ananta's body to her car. As they make the switch, the ghosts draw closer, but before they can reach them, Yama drives away, causing the apparitions to vanish into thin air. After traveling some distance, their car halts once more, this time due to running out of gas. Yama and Sasthi push the car until they reach a gas station. Sasthi then heads to the restroom, where she hears the sound of someone crying, and when she goes to that side, she notices a female there, and the door mysteriously closes behind her. While Yama refuels the car, he suddenly hears a girl's voice that fills him with fear. Startled, he catches a glimpse of a reflection in the mirror, seemingly beckoned by a spirit. Despite the call, when he turns around, there is no one present. Sasthi approaches the female figure, but as she makes contact, it vanishes, leaving only the cloth behind. Terrified, Sasthi realizes that the ghost is now behind her and approaching her, and as she turns, she finds the spirit right beside her, prompting her to scream in terror. Yama rushes in and discovers Sasthi lying unconscious, but when he attempts to wake her up, he encounters the same ghostly figure he had glimpsed in the reflection. Yama comes out from the encounter shaken, finding Sasthi already seated in the car. They depart from the scene, with Yama confiding in Sasthi that the closer they are to Kimiken, the more weird stuff they are seeing. He suspects it has something to do with her father and his hometown. Meanwhile, Indeng comes out of his house and notices the blood moon in the sky. Finally, Yama and Sasthi arrive at Ananta's hometown, and when Endong approaches them, Yama informs him that they have come to deliver Ananta's deceased body to be buried. Endeng recognizes Sasthi and informs her that he is Ananta's elder brother. Meanwhile, Jayanthi also awakens and becomes terrified upon seeing the corpse, attracting the attention of the villagers. Endeng quickly leads them to his house and emphasizes the need to bury Ananta immediately, but the people in Kimikan are reluctant to bury him there. He informs them that earlier in the afternoon, the village chief had committed suicide, leading people to suspect supernatural involvement related to Ananta. Endeng explains that the Banaspati demon residing within Ananta's body will grow stronger during the full moon, and it won't allow them to bury Ananta in the village. Upon checking the time, they realize they have only half an hour remaining to bury him. Endang reveals that the mastery of the Banaspati art has been passed down through generations since ancient times. Their master was one of the last practitioners of this art until he was killed in his sleep with an ancient Pocong blade. On that fateful night, Ananta had arrived from the city, having beaten those people and chased them away. But the Banaspati demon was transferred into him. Now, they must use the same Pocong blade to stop it. Meanwhile, the villagers gather outside Endong's house and adamantly oppose burying Ananta's body there, insisting it be cremated due to the belief that it brings bad luck. As everyone approaches the car to burn Ananta's body, they are shocked to find that Ananta's body is missing. This discovery terrifies them all, prompting Endang to intervene and urge everyone to return home and secure their windows and doors. As he takes stock of the situation, he realizes that Sasthi is missing, and we see that Sasthi has taken her father's body. Endang and the others eventually locate Sasthi, who implores Endong to honor her father one last time and bury him there instead of killing him again. Suddenly, Endang senses a disturbance, and soon after an earthquake shakes the ground momentarily. As Endang tries to move closer to Ananta to resolve the situation, Ananta mysteriously rises to his feet. Sensing danger, Endang instructs Yama to escort Sasthi and Jayanthi away from the scene, but Jayanthi flees in a different direction. After running for a while, Jayanthi stops to catch her breath, but suddenly she hears a whispering sound, and as she looks around, we see Ananta's corpse right behind her. Just as Yama and Sasthi arrive, Yama warns Jayanthi. However, when she looks back, there is no one there. They both then realize that it's behind Sasthi now, and before they can react, it grabs her and starts dragging her away. However, Endang attacks it from behind with the Pocong blade, causing the demon to flee from the scene. Endang and Yama chase after Ananta and successfully defeat the demon, only to discover that the entity they fought wasn't Ananta, but Durman. In a flashback, it is revealed that when Mumun was possessed by Ananta's spirit, he pleaded with Endong to assist Sasthi. He warned that if he were to ever rise from the dead, it would not be him, but the Banaspati demon. Ananta explained that the demon becomes stronger during the full moon and cannot be killed by the Pocong blade. He emphasized the importance of preventing Banaspati from taking over Sasthi's body. Meanwhile, we see Sasthi driving away with her father's corpse, wearing a disturbing smile that suggests she may be possessed by Banaspati or under its control. Thanks for facing the frights with us. If you survived this video, drop a like, summon that subscribe button, and brace yourself for more horror. Until next time, stay spooked.